And a good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wheel People, a special Tuesday night edition, if you will. Hope you all enjoyed as best you could the wet and soggy and kind of cool and nasty Memorial Day weekend. It is what it is. We all had to deal with it, but unfortunately for those of us who thought we were going to catch a couple, 3, 4 races this weekend, it didn't quite pan out as well. We did get a chance to go down to Lebanon Valley last Thursday night for the first time this year and enjoyed the racing. The racing is really good. And if you haven't been to Lebanon in a few years, you ought to give it a shot. The racing is really competitive. And the sportsman race was just as competitive, if not more so, than the modified race on Thursday. And of course, Alex Yankowski, our guest last week, kept his streak alive, picking up the win in the Short Track Super Series debut, first time ever at the Lebanon Valley Speedway, after running down Matt Shepard, which I tell you, Alex has been pretty amazing here the last couple of weeks. Within a span of just a couple of weeks here, he held off his mentor, Stuart Friesen, and then he passed Matt Williamson for the win. And again, on Thursday night, he passed the other Matt Shepard, for the win. So in a span of a week and a half, he literally beat the three of the top guys that have been around for the last 5 or 6 years at least. Those three have won just about everything. But Alex is on a roll tonight. He is down at the action track down in Pennsylvania, and hopefully we'll be able to zip through here as well as can be expected, and we'll let you all get away. I know some of you got one eye on the action down at in Pennsylvania for the Short Track Super Series event there, and hopefully one ear on this end. So I can go back and forth. So I hope you all got a couple of computers or TVs set up, and we'll do our best we can. I almost didn't have a show this week, but I decided I really should owe to you and to hopefully Peter Britton, who picked up his first win of the season over at Albany Saratoga Speedway on Friday night in a great run from, I believe he started 10th. And Pete will be with us here in just a few moments. He is at his daughter's baseball game. So if you hear cheering in the back, he is not sitting in the stands at a racetrack someplace or in a race car, that's for sure. But Alex will be, Peter will be with us momentarily. And then we will run a quick show and have just two guests tonight. So we'll have Peyton Talbot, the youngster who we have had on the show a lot over the past several years, because the kid's been really good. Well, kid, I guess he's officially an adult now. He's 22. He was 22 last week, I believe. So he has moved up to the 358 division and picked up another win in that division. I think he has 3 or 4 wins in that since moving up last season. But we're looking forward to talking to Peyton and see how he's made the transition kind of effortlessly, I guess. And also want to thank everybody for all their kind words for the award that I received Saturday at Fonda Speedway. I want to thank the committee at the Fonda Hall of Fame and the museum committee for whatever reason pulling my name out of a hat. I guess I know it wasn't that, but thanks again, folks, for that. And in the spur of the moment there, it's hard to believe, but yes, I was lost for words. No, I forgot to thank a lot of folks who have helped me throughout the years do this for we're crowding 50 years here now, but um, I certainly appreciate all of the help from all the promoters, and I listed them this afternoon or this morning on Facebook, and I've had a lot of response on that, so you can just go there and read that. But they all have welcomed me at Fonda Speedway, and only had one, and we won't mention that who that was, but wanted to get me off the air for one reason or the other. But we got through that one pretty easy. That was a long time ago, so we try to behave ourselves as best we can here now. But if it wasn't for those promoters of Fonda, Ronnie Company, um, years ago, um, allowed me to interview Bobby Allison um, when he was at the Speedway, years when we used to have NASCAR drivers there, and I was able to walk. Bobby says, let's get outside. We don't want to sit down here. We walked, so I walked to Fonda Speedway alongside Bobby Allison, and that was right up there and the best thing that's ever happened to me as far as being a big race fan. I was a fan of Bobby's anyway, but to have him walk around Fonda Speedway and said, "Yeah, I remember I had a little deal with Petty here, and we had we ran the car up to the shop up in Gloversville, someplace in a dealership or whatever, and it was just great." And then I had a chance the following year, I think it was with Harry Gant when he was in town as well, and just a true gentleman, as everybody knew he was. But that, and having Jack Johnson on my show the first year, I believe it was that. Well, I know it was the first year that a New York driver won at Syracuse, and Jack, of course, that was 1979. So you do the math how long ago that was, but that was definitely a big highlight. And then just watching the legends, Dave Lake. We have Dave on the show many times. We had Louie on a few times, and Bobby Varon, and now of course Stuart Friesen. We got Stewie on here right after his 100th win. It's just been great, and I just want to thank all you guys out there. If it hadn't been for you tuning in or listening or whatever we're doing now, I really appreciate it, and with all the help from the promoters allowing me to float around and do whatever I do, and also forgot on Saturday, for those of you that were there or did see the tape there, mentioned my great friend Doug Mathewson, who was in the other room right now, watching the race and listening at both both eyes. But without Doug helping me out here with this with the internet, my home internet is not up to snuff. And Doug says, "Oh heck, you can come over and do it here. I don't live too far away." So for the last couple of years, we've been hanging out in the Mathewson mansion here, and really appreciate that, plus everything else that he does for me. So anyhow, I think we got most everybody covered. Again, it was a great day. It's great to see some of the people I hadn't seen in a while, and some of you newer listeners probably don't remember or didn't know. Some of the older guys that got in, actually, some of them had passed away, but Bob Mott, of course, the owner of the famous Mott number 3 that Pete Corey really gave a name to. And then the best and the best, Jeep Herbert drove the car before Pete did, but the best at Fonda drove that car, and Pete had the record there for, excuse me, I saw the year too, but he won 5 races in a row right off the bat. with the Mott number 3. And I happen to have a copy of the Mott 3. This is actually back in the days when they really made models. This weighs about a pound and a half, 2 pounds. It's solid metal, steel. And it looks like the 3. It's got Pete Cordy's name on it. It's one of my prized possessions, which I was given to by one of my old friends who has now passed away. And that's what the Mott 3 pretty much looked like most of the time until it got in a crash or was that whatever. But that was the Mott 3 that was so famous at Fonda Speedway back in the day. But I forgot I was going to bring that to the museum, and I didn't. So there, you got a chance to see it. It's kind of a crazy up and down weekend. As I said, got a chance to go to Lebanon Valley for the first time in a while. And then, while I was down there, learned that my favorite NASCAR driver, Kyle Busch, had passed away, and nobody was believing it and thinking it was all a hoax on the internet or whatever. But it turned out to be uncannily true. So prayers go out to all his family, and, his brother Kurt, and that the opening ceremony at Charlotte yesterday was quite the deal, and or Sunday actually, but a lot of people. Well, I guess that was a lot of people said it. Either liked him or you hated him. I guess there was not a lot in between. But I think in the last couple of years, since he's mellowed and had kids and Brexton's come along, I think he's gained a lot more fans, as somebody noted several times there during the long weekend, that the cheers were outnumbering the boos anymore. So fly high, Kyle, and we'll see what happens here in a few years. Brexton is only 10, so he's going to have a ride, that's for sure, when he gets to that age. But it'll be 5-6 years yet. But we'll see if the Busch legacy will continue on. We also had, sad news. It seems like, well, when you get my age, this kind of happens a lot. A lot of people that you knew or grew up with or whatever are no longer with us. I mean, Albany Saratoga's gone through a terrible swipe of people leaving us, but Jack Brookman, who was the tech inspector down at Fonda Speedway, was auto mechanics. I believe probably would be Bosie's teacher for years in the Fonda area. And he was a big part of Fonda Speedway going back a few years. Jack, unfortunately, passed away here this past week as well. So our prayers go out to Judy and the rest of his family. A guy that he loved racing. He loved Harleys too, so that was good for me. But he will be missed, and he was an integral part of Fonda Speedway back in the early days, that's for sure. And then we just learned today that Charlie Hogan, who probably most of the fans didn't know, but most of the competitors up at the Ridge did. Charlie was the gatekeeper for the last few years. He pretty much could find him anywhere. He loved racing, and there's a bunch of guys like Charlie that are at the racetracks for most of their adult lives, or even all the way through their lives, that the unsung heroes who mind the gates, clean the grounds, or whatever needed to be done. Charlie was there, and he certainly will be missed. And I didn't know Charlie personally that well, but I did chat with him pretty much like everybody else did when you walked into pits at Glenridge, and he'd always say hi and where's your wristband, and go from there. But just one of the characters that we all don't think a lot about until they're not there. And so prayers to Charlie and his whole family up at the Ridge as well. And I did want to mention while we're reminiscing here, and unfortunately some sad stuff, that you don't want to forget June 13th. It's coming up, folks. It's only 3 weeks from this Saturday, 2 weeks from this Saturday. The 75th anniversary, or the celebration of 75 years of racing at Fonda Speedway. Eric Mack has been doing all kinds of works behind the scenes, and he's contacted over 200 people, former drivers, owners, mechanic, whatever he could think of. And Eric is pretty good at history, so going to be a huge day. So put that on your calendar. Try to be down in Fonda on June 16th or June 13th, excuse me, 13th. They already have announced here in the last couple of days that Billy Pouch Sr. will be there with his race car, and hopefully there'll be a big line of old time drivers and new drivers and every kind of driver you can think of that raced at Fonda. An autograph line from 3 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon till 5. So Billy Pouch will be here with one of his vintage cars as well. And Dr. Dick Burren has also announced that Dr. Dick will be here, and that'll be great. I hope he is in good enough health to be able to get around and help everybody, because I know Dick's been suffering a little bit lately from some health issues, but certainly a monumental guy for all of auto racing, and especially, Dick raced at Fonda years and years ago, so we'll talk more about that as the time comes. Anyway, we're working right into our magic hour here. I want to get Pete before he gets into the ball game here.
How's it going, Ed?
Hey, good. Okay. How's the game going? You winning? You're losing?
They're losing right now.
Okay.
I think my girl, she's actually up to bat next, maybe.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
bad timing here. So okay, well,
Yeah, it's
all right.
how it goes.
If you break out into a holler and a scream, we'll know that things are going well. Then
That's it, exactly. Yeah, you'll know how it's going.
right. Well, thanks so much for taking time. I know family time is real important to you, especially in the summertime when you get it when you're running around chasing racing all over. Unfortunately, this past weekend, you didn't get a chance to do that. It's too bad that some of you professional racers who do this for a living can't get a unemployment situation going on. So when you get all these rain out,
That'd be an interesting situation, right?
yeah, right. Because
Yeah, I'd vote for that.
yes, yeah, lots of.
Even if we do race, because sometimes it costs you more money to go to the track than it does to stay home.
Well, that's the other adage, and I know I heard that more than once this weekend. Well, we saved some money this weekend, so.
Yeah, and like that situation only applies to people that just show up and get a percentage. Like if you're
Right.
paying the bills on your race car, a lot of the times it's cheaper just to stay home. But,
Right.
yeah, that's a part of it.
Yeah, and I see the car count at Action Track tonight is 23, and the car count actually was pretty good at Lebanon Valley last week, but in the stands between Flow, and it was a chilly night. I'm not sure if the midweek shows, which is great for guys like yourself who do this for a living, gives you an added night or two. Boy, things don't look good unless I'm just hoping that the Flow people and the Dirt Vision people are making it possible that these tracks are going to be able to survive with this.
Yeah, I think it's a balance, right?
Yep.
Like you can't do it too much because people can only go to so many races, right? So
Right.
they're going to pick and choose the ones they want to go to, and seemingly the ones that that are promoted well and have a little bit of a history that, it happens every year. You got to play to your market a little bit, and some of them work really well, but other ones, obviously, you see a couple that have struggled, so it's just a part of it, and I guess the ones that struggle, they're not going to keep getting put back on again, are they?
No. Well, like I say, I'm trying to figure out how this streaming is going to be sustainable. Hopefully, they are reimbursing the tracks. I know that you guys. Well, it's the same old story. You guys need more money, but so does everybody else. So it's kind of a,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
catch.
you can only get so much money.
Right.
There's only so much to pull from, right? But
Yep.
yeah, if there's, that's the important part, right? Is there's got to be the balance with the streaming, and obviously, I'm not. That's not something I'm involved in, obviously, but I mean, it's you know what? If there's money being made off the streaming and the tracks are struggling, there needs to be
Yeah.
some kind of compensation,
Right.
whatever it is.
I mean, it really the streaming part of it is all good for guys like yourself who do this because your merchandise it's created years ago. Uh, well, he was a pretty successful racer in the day. Brian Ross from this area won championships around mostly on the on the blacktop, but he did run a lot of dirt towards the end of his career. But he said that's what happened with NASCAR. He said NASCAR created heroes by having television all over, and I think it's a good thing. People across the country now know who Peter Britton is because they can watch it in California in the afternoon. So
Yeah, definitely. And, like obviously my family's from Australia, and,
right, that's right. Yeah,
it doesn't matter how cheap you make the tickets to the racetrack, they're not going to show up on a weekend to watch a race.
right, right.
So
Yeah,
it's, the streaming thing, it allows, either some people that used to have an interest or they, were from an area that had racing, and they moved away, and it enables them to still maintain their viewing of it, and still
right.
stay involved. And I think so. That's obviously a good thing, I mean, obviously we don't want people staying away from racetracks, just to sit at home and watch it. But obviously it's a catch-22, right? It's pretty rare that in this day and age that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be at the track every week, right? Like people are gonna, have their nights off, have family things. Weather looks not great. All right, I might make one, this race one of the ones I have to miss, and but with the streaming, it still enables them to watch it anyway.
Right.
So that's what, to me, that's what you'd hope
Yes.
they're going to do is that they're. You're not necessarily taken away from the stand. You're just helping people stay involved, and
Right.
if anything, make their, I guess their fandom for the races like higher, so
Yes.
they actually stay involved with every race instead of if there was no streaming, they'd miss half the races. Well, now they get to watch every race, whether it's live or on TV.
Right.
So,
And I know it's you got nothing to do with any of this, but so I think I'm right, but I'm not sure. So your family in Australia, when they watch you at Malta, like on Friday night, that's like in the middle of the night for you guys, for them, right?
So it is. It's in the morning. So
Morning.
They're,
Okay.
they're roughly say 14 hours.
Oh, okay. All right.
Difference time zone.
All
So
right.
if it's 9 o'clock at night over here, let's say our feature's rolling off at 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
That's roughly about 11 o'clock in the morning Australian time.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's not
So
bad then.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Right. Yep.
So you can wake up the morning, have your breakfast, and turn on the races and watch some heat races. you know?
Yep.
So
And have some.
it's kind of a unique experience,
And have-
it all works out.
Right. So Friday
The
night.
opposite way is not good because, like for me to watch my brother's races,
Yeah.
they obviously, heat races are probably going out around 4 o'clock in the morning, and
Yep.
feature around 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. So
Yep.
there's anyone that knows me knows that it's pretty difficult to get me up at that time in the morning, unless I've already been up.
Right.
So it's yeah.
Yeah.
But, obviously some of the bigger races, I'll my brothers, I'll get up and watch, and hopefully I stay awake for them.
Right. Well, yeah, probably, trips coming back from coming back from Canada. All right.
Yeah,
So-
no, there's definitely a few, just like Georgetown, right? I think
Yep.
when we came back from Georgetown, I think we pulled in my driveway at about 7:30 in the morning, I think it was. So yeah, I
Yes.
might have missed his features that night.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, obviously there's not too many of them, but
Right.
yeah, you got the Quebec trips and a few other places that are quite a ways away, and obviously we're heading out to Mansfield out in Ohio doing that, Sharon. So yeah, there's more than once when you're pulling back in the shop and the sun's coming up.
Oh,
So
yes.
just
The
just
glorious-
along with the lifestyle.
The glorious life of the race car driver. Yes, I know.
Oh yeah,
Tim.
definitely. And sometimes you get yourself so hyped up on coffee and
Right.
sugary candy and stuff that you can't even sleep when you get back. So you just unload the car and get to work.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, by about 3:00 in the afternoon, you're shot for sure.
Yes. I can relate. Going back in my early days when we were on the dairy farm, used to go to Fonda, and even though the races were over by 11, there was usually a pit party going on until. Well, we always used to turn the lights off, and there was nights where I got home and just went out to the barn, and that's and then, like you say, it's great until about noon the next day, and then oh boy. But
yeah, for sure. And I'm approaching 40 now, so
you're right.
I don't quite have the energy that I used to have.
Right.
I'm
Yes.
definitely feeling my age a little bit, which the old timers tell me I don't know nothing yet.
Yeah.
Wait another 10 years.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel it enough as it is these days. I definitely can't do what I used to do, and but as they say, as you get older, you gotta work smarter, not harder sometimes.
Right.
And get things kind of arranged ahead of time, and unfortunately, when you gotta lift something heavy, you gotta ask for some help now.
Yes.
Grab
Yes.
it and do it yourself.
Yes.
So my back's had enough injuries that I've had to learn to be a little bit smarter in the way I do things sometimes. So apparently I am growing up.
Yes.
Very slowly, but
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of you on the internet. I'm sure everybody else has too. Having a great time, which is good. That's you got to do that every once in a while. But as you get older, it gets harder to have more fun. I guess you have to do a little bit.
As you get older, a fun night is getting to bed early.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's
Right.
sometimes you look forward to just, hey, man, I can go to bed at 9:00 tonight. Hell yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, right. Now, I noticed in your, and I apologize, I didn't get over to, I usually try to get over and congratulate guys at the end of the night. I'm also there, but by the time I got over there, well, everybody was in there because we were supposed to have a big weekend. You guys are going to race every night for 4 days straight, 5 days straight, and everybody was pretty much cleared out of the pits by the time I got back over. Anyway, I noticed in the victory picture here that Mike from Boston Spa Agway wasn't in it. I haven't seen Mike this year. I usually run into him every Friday night, and I haven't seen him. Has he been going to the races?
Yep, no, I fired him, told him to stay. I can't handle it anymore.
Okay.
No, they're obviously this is their.
Yeah, it is their
season,
it is their busy season.
I actually stopped in and saw him the other day and
Okay.
checked out all the plants they had outside, and they got a lot going on over there.
Oh, they do. Yep.
Mike and Whitney, and I haven't seen them at the track for a while, but
Okay.
I guess that means that they're doing what they need to do.
Yes. No, that's good. Well, I was hoping that was what the situation was there because, well, like I say, we get our age. I know Mike's, nobody's as old as I am, but Mike is getting up there compared to what he'd do. But yeah, I watched a lot of races with Mike, so we're pretty good buds. We've been around for a while, so I just okay, good. I'm glad to hear he's doing well. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're really good people,
Yep.
And obviously, everyone's got life stuff that they're dealing with too, you know, and it's between that and running a business, it's it's a lot, as you know, and sometimes you get to that point where you close up the shop a Friday night, and just having a nice meal and going home to bed is probably a better
Right.
scenario than getting
Yep.
covered in dirt and dust, But
Yep.
yeah, obviously, I'm sure, especially, obviously, it's been a little chilly out too,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that hurts the motivation sometimes, and I'm sure with the fans too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we saw the last couple, the 2 week. I mean, things picked back up again Friday night. They were,
Yeah, I felt like they had a pretty,
Yes, it was
I
decent.
guess strong crowd, an average crowd, I guess,
Yes.
for them,
Yep.
which is typically good. It's been a little light the last few weeks, but yeah,
Yeah, just cold. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, when it's 50 degrees out and the wind's blowing and it feels like it's 40 or 35,
Right. Yes.
Once again, we're all getting older, we're all getting smarter, and sometimes that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Right. Yeah. I turned down. I was going to go to Airborne a couple of times this year already, but I said no. It's too cold. I'm smarter than that now. I guess whatever.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, first, being a true blue, I was a Kyle Busch fan. I got to say that, but. That was a great gesture. Was that something that you had kind of in your back of your mind? If I win tonight, I'm going to do this, or did it kind of pop in when you were making that victory lap going around?
Yeah, it was a little bit at the back of my mind, and there was a couple people that mentioned it as well throughout the night. And sometimes it's hard to remember things like that in the moment because you just had the adrenaline of winning, and even like when you're doing your victory lane speech, it's hard sometimes to remember to thank everyone, because it's and you really want to, at least for me, and I'm sure everyone's the same way, you really want to make sure you get everyone in too, because it takes so much to keep the wheels on a racing operation, and every partner that you have involved in your team, whether it's big or small, they're all super valuable, and that's our moment to shine. Everyone wants to be in victory lane, and it's so you want to make sure you get all of them. But it's the Kyle Busch thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a heartbreaking story, and unfortunately, as I guess when you live life long enough, you kind of witness things like this, and it just. It just sucks. There's no other way to put it, and not that me, giving them the tribute in victory lane is going to change anything for them. But it's either way, it felt right to do, and
right. No, pretty much.
It seemed like it was well received.
Yeah, pretty much across the board, everybody. Because I watched. Well, being there was nothing to watch in person, I watched a lot of racing all weekend on Flow and in Prime and all that other stuff. But what I want to, were you, even though you're obviously trying to make your living here being a dirt racer, you follow NASCAR much at all, or?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
When I first came over to America, I it was on my bucket list to go to some NASCAR races.
Yep.
It's the coolest thing in the world, And obviously NASCAR isn't what it used to be, unfortunately. But it's I feel like it's gotten better, and yeah, you know what? Like nothing's what it used to be. Right?
No,
Everything changes over time, and to be honest with you, I have a lot of. I guess something that's probably got me more interested in NASCAR is some of the drivers that are in it now. I really like guys like Larson and Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney, and I guess you feel like you kind of almost know some of them. Not that I'm close with any of them, but just, some of them having the dirt racing background or a dirt connection.
Yes, it seems like there's more and more of that. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, they kind of feel a little bit more like one of us now, instead of just being these unobtainable, guys that think they're too good for dirt race anymore. A little bit,
Right.
So I guess that kind of, and I just like some of their personalities. And
did you get a chance to talk to Christopher at all? down.
I did not.
No.
No. I'm sure he had plenty enough people trying to talk.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to go over there. I had my own stuff to worry about.
Right.
And
Right.
I do want to point it out that I got a 100% record against Christopher Bell.
Okay.
I raced him. I beat him. So
Yep. There you go.
Maybe that cop seat isn't so safe for him, you know?
Right.
But no, it's a really cool thing that he was able to do that, and I'm glad it went well, and he seemed like he enjoyed racing it too. You know, obviously it's a lot different to anything he's ever driven before, I'm sure, and you know, obviously he did a great job, and that's why he's the superstar he is, right? You know,
right. I mean, that just showed, you know, the talent. Right, the talent. Obviously, he came, like you said, from a dirt background, so it wasn't totally. I know he had mentioned on that piece they did about him before. I don't know if you watched it when you got home or anything else, but he said that, you know, it was just the entering of the corner that was different than driving a sprint car for him. And, you know, he adapted. And, of course, you know, you're always going to get the naysayers. They said, well, you know, he had a whole day to practice, and Stewart, you know, was on the phone or on the headsets telling him how to do it. I said, yeah, but he still has to do it. And it's nothing like going 200 miles an hour on an asphalt track. So, I mean.
Yeah, some of this stuff is all kind of easy out there practicing, doing it by yourself, you know, but it's a different story when you're racing a car and you're in the pack and you're not necessarily 100% comfortable and confident in exactly what it's going to do. You know, it's hard to be on that edge and be fast. And yeah, you know, he's obviously Friesen's cars are, you know, it's probably one of the best cars you could jump in right now.
Oh yeah.
Too, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously you've ticked all the boxes, but I mean, there's a lot of people that have got good equipment and good cars, and you know, they might not be quite as dialed in as what Friesen's cars are, but they're not that far off either. And like you said, you know, like he still had to do it, and he's running against a Super Dirt Car Series field. It's not like he went to a weekly track,
right?
You know,
yes.
with just a couple of guys. Like you're racing against the best guys from New York, New Jersey, Delaware area, you know. So I mean, it was a stacked field, and yeah, for him to beat the majority of guys first time out, you know, I think it's impressive.
Oh yeah, no, yes. Well, I'd say you were out there, so you got a chance to. I don't know if you got around them, like you said, you were in front of them most of the time, so that was good, a good thing. But no, I you know, you got to give all those guys, and that the cup level certainly is a different level of driver. There's no doubt about that. You know, a lot of them have tried it and not paid it. All right, let's get back to home again. Now, you also, you know, mentioned in your victory lane about, you know, the whole situation with Lyle, and you know, Albany Saratoga's just got slapped between the eyes here for. Just seems like it just keeps on coming. But you had mentioned even before, and I saw some of your posts on Facebook when Lyle passed away. You seem, I mean, every driver that drive race cars at Albany Saratoga had a pretty much positive feeling about Lyle. But you seem to say that you know, you guys were, I guess you can say friends or whatever, but what was it about Lyle that you really, you know, well, we all miss him. There's no doubt about that. But I guess the fact that you traveled, 3 hours every Friday night to race at his track shows some of the loyalty that you had to him. But what was it about him that, you know, you really liked the guy?
Yeah, he's just my kind of guy, you know, like no bullshit. Like if he doesn't like something, he'll tell you, you know, and just, you know, really, to me, you know, not overly, like some people can have an ego and want to big note themselves all the time, but he wasn't like that, you know. He was just kind of a regular guy that ran a racetrack, you know, and every now and then he probably had to speak up and hurt some people's feelings, but I'm pretty sure whenever he had to do that, he had a pretty good valid point behind it too, you know. So it's I just, you know, Albany Saratoga was I would say the first place over here that I really felt like I had a home at.
Okay.
You know? And very fortunate for me that I was embraced by everyone up there, whether it be the people behind the scenes or the crowd. It's pretty insane that you can this kid from Australia can get a whole crowd of people yelling Aussie, Aussie, Aussie,
Yes.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yep. And you did on Friday night again. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool, and it's, I don't know, one of them things that I never would have, back 15 years ago when I first came over here, if you had told me that this is where things are going to end up and I was going to be embraced the way I have, I would have told you you're probably an idiot,
Right.
But yeah, and obviously it's a big team of people at Albany. It's not just, Lyle wasn't the only person there making the
Sure.
track go around. There's a bunch of really good workers, and obviously Marcy and Mia, and in the early days, obviously I was pretty close with Joanne Davies and Don Davies
Yep.
too, and like you said, yeah, it's been a very unfortunate run around that area for a couple of years now, which sucks. But we've lost some really good people. But if you, I guess, if you've met enough people to feel sad about, then I guess you've met the right kind of people.
There you go. Yep,
and
absolutely.
left an impression on you. But
Yep.
yeah, it was, Lyle was just he runs a great racetrack, and he's made that place what it is, and I just hope we can keep continuing that legacy for a long time to come. And as he's sitting back in the great grandstand in the sky, enjoying the races, sipping a beer, hopefully he's proud of what he's watching.
Yep. And we all knew that it was going to be different without him. And, the track is a little different. And, some of the, like every driver, they're always going to have a complaint here or there or whatever. But the majority of them, I've had all the winners of the modified features on this year. That's why I was glad to be able to grab a hold of you. But they all said, the track is different, but it's still raceable and it's smooth pretty much. There's that one hole in 1 and 2 that, or in the bottom of 2 there, that crops up every once in a while. But on the whole, there was that one night when the top had to get laid down or whatever. But how have you adjusted?
There was one night there where, because of the rain that
Yep.
they'd had,
Yep.
the track being opened up, it created some rough spots,
Yep.
and not ideal, obviously, but you go to any racetrack and you're going to have nights like that,
Oh, yeah.
not worse,
Right.
and really, to me, obviously, as you say, if you ask the winner about the racetrack, you're probably going to get a good answer,
Yes. Yep.
But I don't know. I don't really know what else you could ask for. It's easy on motors. It's easy on tires. There's a bottom, a middle, and a top. I'm not sure how the dust is, because obviously I'm a little immune to the whole dust side of things anymore, because I've just kind of got to the point where you're used to racing and not being able to see anyway,
Right.
You got to ask other people how the dust is, because I think I just feel my way around at this point. But I don't think it's been bad. Watching the videos at all, and I know Albany has had a little problem the last few years with the dust. So
Sure.
it's I don't know. I don't really know what else you could ask for. The track's obviously a little slower than what it has been. I know some people like speed, but at the same time, the speed doesn't create good racing. It's when the track slows down and there's multiple lines, and
Right.
if you miss your marks, you get punished for it. And like I said, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how the track is.
If anybody had any complaints at all, certainly not on Friday night, because you came from 12th. Matt DiLorenzo came from 15th. Calabrese started 9th. Mahaney was 18th, and you're all in the top 4. So, guys are
says it all, right?
Guys are passing, and I know that's not an issue, but that's pretty much been your MO ever since you've been competitive over at Albany Saratoga. You're going to start back 12th to 15th to 16th every week, and
we somehow we've been able to get ourselves in that zone where we're always consistently good, and we're just buried in the handicap.
Right,
You know?
right.
and it's hard to win from there. You know, that's the problem. Like, you know,
Yep.
you take a couple of weeks off and screw around, and then you know, then you get a front row or a second or third row start spot. You know, but we're, you know, like Kevin Palmer obviously brings a really good car to the racetrack every week, and we don't have any mechanical problems.
Yep.
Typically, knock on wood. You know,
Yes.
don't jinx
Yes.
yourself,
Right.
but you know, so like we're not falling out of races. We're always there or thereabouts, and it's yeah, it's like you got to be really, really good to win from 12th to 15th, 18th, something like that. You know, and you know, we've been in that position where we've been good, but not quite good enough to get there. I feel like for a couple of years now, and you know, who knows? Maybe this year's a little bit of a start of the hey, you know what? We've made that jump to be good enough to be able to win from there consistently. You know,
Right.
I'm hoping.
Yes.
Way,
Well.
you know, but
Yeah, and like you.
we had a really good car this week, and
Yep.
you know, I felt comfortable, and I felt like we did it pretty easily, and yeah, if we can, we all know that you know, things change in a heartbeat. Just when you think you got it figured out is when it all turns to crap, basically.
Right.
But yeah, I'm pretty confident in what we've got so far, and hopefully I can keep driving well, and the car keeps feeling the same way it did.
The red car that you run at Albany Saratoga that's pretty much it for that car, correct? That's the only place you run that car, or
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, never say never, but yeah, basically,
Yep.
that's what it's there for, and you know, Kevin takes care of it, and you know, they obviously bring it up to the track, and you know, we try to win with the damn thing.
Right, and then the blue Pepsi car. Well, it has not yet had a race at Canandaigua, your home.
Not at Canandaigua. Yeah, we've taken it on the tour a little bit,
Right.
around the place, you know, from Georgetown to Cornwall. But yeah, you know, obviously I feel bad for the, you know, Geneva Club Beverage, Pepsi
Right.
there, you know, where they're obviously sponsoring me for Canandaigua, and we haven't been able to get some races in, but hopefully, you know, that's part of the reason why I wanted to take it around at least a couple of races to try and, you know, show them appreciation, give them exposure for, you know, the help they do give me for Canandaigua that we're kind of missing out on right now. But
Yep.
as we all know, that's all part of it. You know, rainouts are a part of it. We could race solid for the rest of the season now. You know, so
Yeah. So you have
we might be begging for a night off.
right. So you have two blue cars then, the series car and the Pepsi car.
Yeah, so you know, like
Okay.
you can change a quarter panel pretty
Oh yeah,
easily.
you're right.
You know, like I try to keep my stuff. Everyone, you know, asks me, "Oh, is this the Canandaigua car? Or is this a series car?" And a lot
Okay.
of the time, it's the same car with just a different quarter panel.
Okay, all right. But you do have what two
Yeah, I
two
have
cars.
two cars
Yeah.
myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then of course we'll top the whole thing off with the white 21A, which I really like that the bat symbol on that one. That's kind of neat.
On the white car.
On the white car, yeah. That's
Yeah, the white car has been retired this year, actually. So
Okay.
We're just going back to the. It's been a little. Like I said to you, sometimes it's the same car, it just gets a different body.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
Sometimes feels like all I'm doing is swapping body panels.
Yeah.
So we're getting back to just making
Yeah.
things a little bit more.
No, I think
consistent and pliable, and it was a cool looking car, like you said. You know, I
Yep.
really liked it, but yeah, we're actually going to be having a new design that's going to be coming out here in a couple of weeks, and you know, that's going to be our design, I guess, heading forward. You know, for the year, for basically everything except for Malta with the red car.
Okay.
And, you know, we'll have some new. I'll get my plug in. We'll have some new merchandise available, T-shirts and hoodies and everything for it. So you know, keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, well, I got a picture. I got to put that on too. But what I was talking about was the small block car. No, that's still the white, right?
The white car, yeah. So that's I raced for a guy by the name of Pat Lynch in the small block stuff. You know,
Yep.
we've been doing Albany, Saratoga, when they do their 358 events, and we've been following the small block series actually with it too.
Right.
So we're still I wouldn't say it's a new team, but I am relatively new to the team. We've been doing it for a couple of years now, and just developing things the way to suit me, and we're trying to get things to where I need to be. And sometimes it's not an easy process, but it's been a lot of fun. We've had some good runs in it, and we've had some not so good runs, but we've had that with my big block stuff too.
Right.
It's pretty damn hard to be to be good all the time, So I'm it's a lot of fun racing with Pat. He's a great guy. They got a great group of people around them too.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward.
Are they located out?
This year.
They're located out in your neck of the woods, out in.
Yeah, my neck of the woods, a
Yeah.
little south from me.
Okay.
But yeah, they are not an Albany-based team.
Right. No. Well, you only have one of those. Yes, we know that. but the you bring up a good point about the 358s. Everybody says, oh, that's going back to the future again. Then more and more of those. But you talk to the guys that have run big blocks. More than a couple of years, and we had Mark Johnson on. Mark has both, obviously, and Mark says, he said that it's not quite as much. He still is an ace with the 358s. He could probably win with a 358 over at Malta yet, but he says once you drive a big block, you don't really look forward to going back to a 358. Are you kind of in that situation, or can?
So I wouldn't want. I know there's been talk over the years that we need to get rid of big blocks,
right,
make everything 358.
Yep.
No, I would definitely not be a fan of that.
Right.
And, might even consider my I guess my future in racing if that was the case. But
right.
But the 358 is fun too, and it's a different style of racing. I believe it's a very important stepping stone because when I first came over here, there was Sportsman and Big Block, and it was cool that there was more big block tracks around.
Mm-hmm.
But it made it very hard for people to move up, and a lot of people just saw it as unattainable, basically.
Right. Yep.
So, now that there's a really good mix of 358 tracks, and I'd like to see another one or two big block tracks, but either way, it's there's a good mix out there, and the Super Dirt Series seemingly is pretty healthy these days, and
yes.
got a lot of people following it, and it's good to see guys getting out of Sportsman and getting into 358 because, really the cost is not really significantly more. Obviously the motor costs are a little higher, but then everything else in the car is the same. Your travel expenses are the same. You're racing for more prize money. You're racing up against better guys, but it also teaches you to race a little bit better too when you're racing with better guys. So it's
well. What about I've had several actually owners. They're the ones that pay the bills. Say that the 358 is much easier on equipment. You don't have to change transmissions, suspensions. He said these big blocks just rip these cars apart.
And that's always been the case. A big block has always been hard on the car. Obviously, a lot of emphasis gets put on the left side panhard and the coil cars and how much harder they are and everything, which it is. But a big block's always been harder on a car, and even in the right side panhard days, and that's it teaches you a lot, not just about driving, but from your mechanical knowledge and work in the shop. You got a lot of work. You got to work a lot harder on a big block car to keep up with everything, and it's not honestly the componentry has improved a lot as well. To the point where it's not real. It's not like we're having a ton of part failures, right? Like everything lasts quite a ways, and oh, there we go. My daughter just scored a run.
All right.
Good job, Addie. Good job. Yeah. But yeah, so like, and obviously the companies I work with, Strange Oval, Winners Performance, they've been developing their products over the years to cope with the added stress of, what a big block is doing to a car these days. So honestly, in reality, I think rear ends are better right now. That I can get more laps out of a rear end now than I used to be able to 10 years ago.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Like typically to have a ring and pinion problem in a Winters rear end is pretty damn rare. I haven't seen one for quite a while,
right.
and I'm putting 2,000, 2,500 laps on a rear. Same with like the strange drive lines and axles and everything, knock on wood, nothing's really breaking because they're just better parts now.
Okay.
So
so even with all these suspensions that are, there's so much travel and everything now that you haven't really noticed you think it's gotten better over.
Yeah, honestly, I remember pulling my hair out in years gone past, 10 years ago, like rebuilding rear ends, changing ring and pinions, like bells cracking, tubes breaking, but over time, things have been improved to the point where now, nothing's ever bulletproof, but
no.
I mean, I'm telling you, it is extremely rare that I have to pull a rear end out of the car because I need to fix something that is just because of a mechanical failure.
Right.
If you smack the wall hard enough or
bounce off
someone, you're going to break something, right?
Yep.
But I mean, it's so,
well, that's good to hear.
Get the right stuff in the car, and you've got to, it's got to be put together right. Like everything,
right?
Everything has to be done properly, and if you can do that, put it all together. If you build a good car, then as long as you look after it and keep up with the maintenance on new joints and stuff like that, you can get quite a lot of mileage out of stuff these days. So,
well, that's good to hear. I mean, that's I'm not hearing that from a lot of people, but apparently either they're not doing their homework as far as maintenance goes or whatever, because logistically, it sounds like these these new suspensions would be much harder to keep all in one piece because of all the movement going on or whatever. But
but like I said, you got to have the right stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And like obviously the lowest shaft in the rear ends has been a little bit of an issue over the last few years, but obviously Winners has a new snub nose rear, and the way that's designed, it definitely helps that problem. And they have Vasco Max shafts, which are a lot stronger. Obviously, they're more expensive, but if they don't break, then that's saving you money too. And
right.
Also, obviously, Strange, they have their own 300M lower shaft too. That's a little bit cheaper priced, but super high quality, and as everything is that they do. And like I said, you put the right stuff in the car to begin with, and you typically don't have issues.
Yep. Well. Oh my goodness! Look at time is flown right. Okay, we've gone over our quote unquote our half hour like we usually do.
I see they're doing the huddle at the end of the game now, so I'm going to have to run here.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time. Congratulations on the win. Hopefully this weather will cooperate, and next time I get you back on, we'll be bitching because you guys are tired out because you haven't had a rain date. So that's
too much racing, too hot.
Right. All right. Thanks again, Pete, and congratulations. And hopefully, keep on going. We'll get into the meat of the season here very, very shortly. And you got a few weeks off here as far as Super Series. You got June 16th, I guess, is the next race for them. But I'm sure you'll find stuff to keep busy, and
it's all coming, and I could not race for a year and still have plenty to do. So
okay.
It's all good.
Right.
Thanks, Ed. Good talking to you.
Yep.
And
Well, so did you win it?
For some ice cream.
So yes, I'll see you Friday with ice cream. That's for sure.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks. Did you win? Did they win the game? Or
I believe they lost.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Check on the final score.
Okay.
But,
Well,
it was closer than it's been. Put it that way.
Okay, good. So, like you said on Friday night, we're getting closer. They're inching your way closer to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Good
Bye.
night. Alrighty, Peter Britton. Okay, and we did. Let me see here. Over here, hopefully, Peyton is.
Hello?
Hello, Peyton.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Sorry, we ran a little long with Peter there for some reason, right?
You're all good.
Okay. Did you get all settled in from a hard day? So, what? You out doing some lawns today, or where were you at?
Yeah, well, we're pretty well caught up on the lawn so far. We're just working on race cars today and, getting them ready for the weekend, that kind of thing,
All right, but you got Friday off, so have you found anything? No, that's what I would start at. First off, congratulations on the win on Friday. And, second the week before to the hottest guy on dirt right now, Alex. And
Right.
So how did that, we'll start right there. How did you get hooked up with Alex's motor person? Just by Alex racing at Utica, and you guys are,
Yeah, pretty much.
okay.
I had talked with Mike about it at Mike Walton, and
Yep.
him and I kind of debated on it and that kind of thing, and we always, Alex always seems to have a pretty good small block program, and, right now, obviously, a big block program now.
Right.
Big block program, and all the way, his program's pretty good right now, so, and then we talked at the beginning of the season, well, actually, it was last year at some point in time, we were kind of feeling around, and, Alex, we had talked to him, and he said that, he'd be happy to have us, and, on the motor program and that kind of thing, so we just kind of went forward with that, and,
Cool.
yeah, that motor's been super stout ever since we got it, so, yeah, it's been good. We finally got a win with it, and, ran second to Alex a couple times, so, we've been working with it, and it's a little bit different than the W16, so we're getting there. It's just, getting notes,
Yeah, that's right too. I was going through the back of my mind, and that's pretty empty back there, so I couldn't remember it. But I thought you had started this deal moving up from the Sportsman with a W16. So you kept that. Obviously, it seems like everybody has at least one of them off in the corner for Oswego usually, but I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. Or did you sell that to?
No, we still have it.
You still
We're working on putting a car around it right now.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were satisfied with it as far as what you want to do with? Yeah. You just thought that, obviously the full 358 is the way to go.
Yeah, just for certain tracks, so just the places, more like Fulton, the smaller places where you need a little bit more torque up off the corner, where that W16 kind of, struggles a little bit more. I mean, it's still, well, you took it to Fulton last year and ran decent with it.
Yeah, you did. Yep, I remember that.
You could definitely tell that you just needed a little bit more up off the corner. So, yeah, no, we're working on that kind of thing, and like I said, the spec's been really good at Utica so far. So, I really want to get my W16 there at some point in time, just to go shake it down and maybe run it a little bit and that kind of thing, and work on it from there.
Yeah, well, with the Utica Rome has been known to be slick, for the second generation here, the last 10 years or so. So on Sunday, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have kept track of it. You still feel as though you would not be competitive with the big blocks with your 358, or the times that much different?
Yeah, honestly, I'm still kind of up in the air about it.
Okay.
I got to talk to Mike about it and that kind of thing. Just kind of get a game plan together. I mean, I think we could do decent with it. We're just trying to keep some of the laps off the motor right now.
Oh, okay.
Right now,
Okay.
Back to run more of the big shows at the end of the year. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we're I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't really care one way or the other if we go or not. I mean, it would be nice to run, but we'll see how everything shakes out.
Yeah, so I mean that was one of the supposedly selling points for the 358 versus Big Black. As we were just talking to Peter about Big Black, Small Black, because he does have the opportunity to run both, and he said if they he just said if they drop the Big Black eventually, like some people are talking about, he said he'd probably retire because that's how much he likes the 358. So don't get me wrong. He said they're fun to drive, but there's nothing like a Big Black. I know you have. I think you've had an opportunity, haven't you, to drive a Big Black once or twice, maybe, for somebody.
I had the opportunity to drive a 360. I've never really driven
Oh,
a Big
just
Block yet.
okay.
But, yeah, no. The Big Block stuff. I mean, it's kind of what the Northeast was built around.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there was a small block stuff there too, but everybody kind of wants to go watch Big Blocks. So yeah, it's.
But with these,
tough. I mean,
but with these slicker tracks now, there's not a lot of time difference, is there? I probably it's easy,
not a lot.
but it don't take, like you say, a tenth or two, and that's enough. So, like,
Yeah.
with with everybody
I
that's
got a team last year at Utica Rome.
mhm.
For the Big Block show, we had to wait 2,400, I think. But
Yes, that's the other thing. Yep.
yeah, and I think we were like fourth quick in hot laps at Utica with it. So
hmm
no, I think with a spec it is possible. I'm not saying it's not. It's just we're gonna do some stuff on the cars this week and get them prepped, and just if we have to go somewhere towards I want to run that spec with the dirt car tour. So we'll try and do that, and then pick some shows from that, and maybe the bigger shows at the end of the year and that kind of thing. So.
hmm
Just trying to get laps planned out, for a schedule and that kind of thing, and you kind of that's where it's a little bit different from crate racing. You crate racing, you can go pretty much anywhere you want and run 60 times a year versus the spec and the small block stuff. You kind of have to keep track of the laps and that kind of thing. So.
Now, what did the Murray team tell you to bring it back or lap time? Because that's what everybody said that is a selling point of the 358s. You don't have to have them rebuilt as soon as, and I've had guys tell me just the opposite, that you have to have them rebuilt sooner than the Big Blacks. I don't know. Did Murray give you a specific lap count that he would like to see the motors back?
I believe, to be honest with you, I would have to double check.
Okay.
I know I wrote it down somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah.
I believe he said every 1,000 to 1,200 just to come in and check them, but
Okay.
I'm not. I would have to double check that number for sure.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, obviously you haven't raced the Big Black or something, so you don't know what the difference is. But
Right.
that sounds like, well, again, I can see what you're doing as far as calculating your laps. Because what do you figure? 50 laps a night, maybe.
Pretty close. Yeah. Utica's like 30 laps for the feature and like 10 laps for the heat race. So.
Yep.
You just try and average around 40.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, being as you guys are, local to Utica, you're pretty much, there isn't much you can do to make or cut back on your costs because it only costs so much to haul, no matter where you happen to be close by. But you haven't. Have you branched out? You said you want to go to some of the track. You just want to go to the tracks that are close by with the 358, and then the series races like Fulton and I don't know, Brewerton. Yeah.
As soon as we can, kind of get everything planned out. I mean, as soon as we get this W16 car done, I think we can travel a little bit more and that kind of thing. So.
Okay.
As of right now, we're just doing Utica every Friday. Trying to be the best that we can be there as of right now, and then, start traveling more towards towards middle of summer and on, you know.
Okay. And I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, you do this even with a sportsman. You probably travel a little bit more with a sportsman. Well, obviously you did for a couple of years there, driving the Short Track Super Series series with other folks' equipment as well as your own. But have you? Is there anything you can do to make it easier on the pocketbook? I guess there isn't anymore.
I don't, you know, I mean, I think everybody's kind of in the same boat, you know. I mean, it's just, I mean, we have really great sponsors behind us where, you know, we, you know, we can travel a little bit more and that kind of thing. It's, you know, we're, like I said, we're kind of limited right now on motor, just for laps. But I mean, other than that, I mean,
Gotcha.
as far as, we'd probably be fine as far as traveling goes. You know, obviously it's super expensive, but, you know, for everyone right now, but, you know, we'll just see how everything shakes out and go from there, you know.
Yeah, and I just popped up the picture of you in Victory Lane with the check. So $2,000 is about double what you would do with a sportsman, or at most places. So does that make it? I mean, you're not. Are you spending double? So is it kind of a wash, or isn't it quite?
To be honest, I mean, as far as like the maintenance stuff goes,
right? Yeah.
I mean, I think your initial buy-in for like the motor is
sure.
a little bit,
sure.
You know, it's definitely more than a crate.
Yeah. Well, I've heard crates up to 18 now, so.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think your maintenance, as far as anything else goes, is pretty close to a crate, to tell you the truth. I don't think it's really a ton more, you know what I mean? We're still on the same maintenance program that we were with our crate, so, you know, we're going to go back through and do all the U-joints and power valves and oils and everything this week, so, you know, I mean, we'll get everything fresh. I mean, it might be a little bit more, but I don't think it's really anything more than what it was with our crate stuff.
Okay. All right. So in a perfect world, which nothing is, but $2,000 to win for what you have invested is maybe a little tad better than the sportsman.
Yeah. I mean, their payout, I mean, Utica's payout's pretty good, you know, from what I've seen with other tracks with the small block stuff. So, you know, we've been kind of fortunate there to you know, have it as our weekly track and that kind of thing. So,
right.
You know, that part of it helps for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And like I say, it is kind of handy that they're you know, probably the closest track to your shop. So that makes a big difference. So I got to get an internal workings here. So with Michael being involved pretty heavily with the management end of Utica now, how does that working out? So it probably, you win a couple more races and they're all going to say, favoritism here or something.
No, there's definitely been some people complaining.
All right, yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Favoritism or cheating one or the other. I mean, you pick it. So,
yeah.
It kind of seems like somebody's always complaining, you know. You can never get everybody happy.
Right. So how's Michael enjoying that end of it?
I mean, as far as I know, he likes it. But,
okay.
He does a really good job race directing and that kind of thing. So
right.
You know, I mean, they do a really good job at Utica Rome, you know, getting us in and out. Most of the time, we're out of there by. I mean, well, we stick around. I mean, we're probably one of the last trailers to leave. But
right.
Realistically, most of the time, we're done by like 10:30 somewhere in there. So on a Friday night, that's, you know, it's pretty decent for people that don't want to stay there until midnight. You know. Right.
And that's been a key to, especially the last 5-6 years, you know, people attention span is getting limited more and more all the time. So, Albany, Saratoga, I said, obviously with Lyle not being there has changed a little bit, but Friday night they were on, the modifieds were done at 9:30. So that's all you can ask for as far as that part goes. But, So it looks like you don't feel like you're, well, you always learn, but you made the transition now to the 358s from the sportsmans where you were extremely successful. Um, uh, the learning curve never stops, that's for sure. But you feel pretty comfortable now with your system.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely took a little bit, from the W16 stuff from last year.
Okay.
When we switched from the Sportsman to the W16, but kind of right out of the box this year. I mean, I felt pretty good with that spec. So, we've just been making changes on what to do with the car and that kind of thing. It's a little bit different that way. So, just trying to get a notebook built and so that way we have notes and that kind of thing. But honestly, as far as the speed difference goes, I was telling somebody the other day. I still remember my first laps in a crate car and thinking it was super fast, and then
Right.
a year later, I was fine with it. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I'm getting the same way with the spec now, where I'm comfortable with everything in it, and as far as putting the car places and that kind of thing, and I'm getting pretty comfortable in the car now. So last Friday we drove over the banks a couple times, but I told somebody the other day, I said I think I spent more time off the track than I did on, but
Mhm.
other than that, I felt really comfortable in the car every time I've gotten in it. So
What is there like a negative crown on 3 and 4 at Utica or something? I mean, literally, there's at least 5, 6, maybe more, in all different divisions. They go over that bank every week up there. I don't know.
yeah,
Is it?
there's not much of a lip there. I mean, you kind of get up there, and some nights it'll hold you, and some nights you kind of got to be on your toes about it.
Okay.
Last was one of them nights where you really had to watch it, and I think. There was a couple times where you got into the bottom of 3 and 4, and it was a little bit dusty, and it started to kick dust up onto the track. And a couple times, I think, you just enter into that. And I was talking to Mike about it, and I'm like, well, if we entered into that, and he was actually the one that brought it up to me. He's like, well, if you entered into that, you were sliding like crazy a couple times. So I think that's really what keeps us more than anything. But there's some nights where the top's really, really clean and tacky, and then there's other nights where it starts to get dirty and it's slow, and then there's nights where it's really not there at all. So
Mhm.
it's kind of I don't think I really had the same thing in the car twice this year. So as far as setup goes,
Really? Okay.
yeah, I've been pretty much different every night. So
Well, you look pretty good. You look pretty good the week before. When you finished second to Alex, you were catching him. We had Alex on the show last week, and I said, it's a good thing that wasn't another 5 laps because Peyton was coming. And
yeah, I had talked to him after the race, and he's just asking me where I was running and that kind of stuff, and just that's where we've been pretty fortunate with Alex is I can kind of bounce ideas off him as far as driving goes and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And he helps me out, and I mean, I don't think I'm much of a help to him, but it's
well, at Utica you should be because at Utica I would think you would be a pretty good source to go to because you got that place pretty well figured out. Not that you didn't have Fonda. We do miss you seeing you at Fonda on Saturdays, but you were pretty damn good up there as well. So, but hopefully, some way down the road here, they're going to add a few 358 races. I know right now you can run the big blocks, but again, all different tires and all that stuff, and I get that. I get that. It's especially today with the tire costs and everything else. But who knows what'll happen here in the next season or two. But I know you. I'm sure you would like to get out on the road more, like you did with the Sportsman, and they say you get a little stale, just staying at the same place, and I know you don't want to do that. So.
Yeah. I mean, That's one of the things I've always loved in racing is traveling. Just going to different tracks and I've always enjoyed, either going south or down to Delaware or Jersey or, anywhere down there or, different tracks up here. So, if we can get back to that at some point, I'd love to. I mean, as if we could, I'd love to race, 3 nights a week like some of these guys, but, it's also tough finding the help to do it. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like the dog that catches the car and then, okay, now what the hell we do with it? Yeah, Alex has said the same. And not only Alex, but, all these guys that are doing this, kind of for a living.
Yeah.
It's as we get burned out, towards the, once the season gets really going here. Of course, Mother Nature's kind of kept everybody close to home here the last several weeks, but hopefully that'll open up here very shortly. Now, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I was a little confused because I know that Mike's business, Fastline, is the shock business and others, the suspension and all the other stuff, But I did see a Dig sticker on the front of your car. Now, are they kind of all? Dig does some Mike stuff. Mike does some stuff for Dig. Is that kind of like an all?
Yeah, we normally get all of our shock bodies and stuff and all of our shocks through Brandon, and then we'll go back through. And Mike usually puts his valving into them. And
okay. Yep.
We've been really fortunate with Brandon, sponsoring us. I still remember when he came on board as a sponsor back in 2021. We talked to him in 2020. He's like, "When you gonna get on Digs, man?" And I'm like, "I don't know, at some point." And we ended up getting him in 2021. So been on him ever since. And I've always had good luck with him. So it's been a heck of a ride.
Yes, it definitely has, and I know there's a lot of seems to be cross work going on between Dig and I know the Fastline. Now we got Jam, and I think most all you guys are all pretty much friends to a certain extent. They're not really competitors. Everybody's doing their own thing, but it's all kind of one big happy family. I know one friend of mine who's been in the shock business for years and years and years. He says, the shocks are all the same. You just put a different sticker on them and whatever. But and I guess there is some truth to that anyway. But your package seems to be really. So you said you've had to fine tune. So has the track been different? The Utica Rome been different this year? It seems like they had some issues on restarts and people changing lanes throughout. And I know talking to different drivers, I don't know if Alex was one of them or not, but you've had a couple of meetings with the drivers about switching lanes. Is that something new that kind of cropped up this year because of the track conditions, or it's just that
they ended up moving the restart and start zone back a little bit.
Okay.
That could be part of it. I haven't really seen much. As far as in our class,
mm-hmm.
As far as some starts do get like bottled up and that kind of thing, but that's everywhere you go. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I think. Don't you think that's the product of the fact that everybody is within a tenth or two of everybody, and on the restarts is your biggest chance to actually pass cars, I guess.
Right. The small block racing is really just overpowered crate racing most of the time. Like it's, you have a little bit more power, but I'm sure it's nothing like driving a big block,
Right. But you have found, I know guys have told me, so I'm sure that your answer is going to be the same, but you feel that actually it's maybe a safer class because you can power your way out of some issues, whereas with a sportsman, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit easier, I think, to move through traffic and make up time with a small block.
Right.
Versus a crate, if you get to second and the guy's 3.5, 4 seconds out. Most of the time you can't close that gap up.
Gotcha.
With a small block, if you have enough time, you can. It's if you hit your marks and you're a couple tenths or 3 or 4 tenths a lap faster. So that part of it, I do see a little bit of a difference in, and that kind of thing. Yes.
Good. Well, like I say, it's it's always great to talk to you. I know we want to give your sponsor. You have had changed some sponsors. I see different names on your car. So if you want to run down some of the people, maybe also some same ones, that's for sure. But if you picked up, who have you picked up since you made the switch to the 358? Any new one?
Yeah, we just picked up Advanced Ready Mix. They're a plant out of Nelson, New York, I believe.
Okay. Yep.
They're a concrete plant. So Advanced Ready Mix, super exterior pressure washing and outdoor services. They came on board with us this year as well. Greg and Heather have been really good to us. So, he's helped us out of the track and that kind of thing. He's working at Utica Rome right now. So he hopped on board. Parker's returning with us again, and Parker Excavating and JB Sewer and Septic. He's always been on board with us. He's on the car this year. Mike at Fastline, same thing. He's returning. Big Terry's Custom Coatings, Lockhart Stables, and Brodell Energy, Certified Auto. I think I got a lot of them. Alex and all the guys over at Cy Murray. They came on board with us this year and that kind of thing. So, their power plant's been good. CC Carbs. Trying to think of everybody. I think I got everybody. Most of them.
Good. No.
Obviously, all your product sponsors and Henry's and all Jones and
yep.
So.
Well, you have to earn that, and you've done that. So that's a good deal, because everybody knows how expensive everything is, and you can't do it without a whole village, as they say. No, but it's good to talk to you again. Good to see you back in Victory Lane. Didn't take too long. You probably figured it should have happened sooner, but that's because you're used to winning a lot. So it's when you move up a class, it always gets a little more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And we've had good runs.
Yeah. No, you've been good.
A couple of weeks before, we got a chance to race with Williamson for a little bit, and until he blew my wrap off. But we got to race with him a little bit and learn some stuff, and figure out where we can be better. And the same thing with Alex. It's all these guys, they come up to me and they say, "Well, aren't you glad Alex and all these guys are?" I'm like, I'd rather race against them. You know what I mean? Because it's only going to make you better. You know what I mean? You're only as good as your competition. So, that kind of thing. It's nice to race against some guys, but it's also nice to get a win every now and then. So
right. Well, it's great to see the. Everybody was wondering what the change to the 358s from the open motors was going to do, and the car counts have been solid, so that's
right.
That's a good thing. that's for sure. I had to ask you, because I know I've had guys over the years. We were talking about COVID years and stuff when there was nobody in the stands. How it was kind of weird, and you're still racing and having fun racing, but it seems like it's a lot more fun and more rewarding when you win when their place is packed. And Utica Rome was packed to the gills on Friday night. As a driver, could you feel the energy and stuff? Obviously you're concentrating on your racing, but I've had a lot of guys tell me that it means a whole hell of a lot more when there's stands are full of people.
No, it was pretty cool last Friday. Walking through the pits and walking through the stands, seeing that many people, and it was pretty packed on Friday. So, we did some stuff during intermission with the kids, and
Yep.
that's one thing I'll give them credit for is they always try and get the drivers involved in that kind of stuff. So, it was pretty neat to be able to race in front of that big of a crowd and to be able to get the win and that kind of thing. So, it'd be cool to see that place like that more often and that kind of thing. So, I wasn't really around when racing was huge. So
Right. Yes. Yes. You're of the age where you hadn't seen every place full every Friday and Saturday and Sunday nights, but so you kind of grown a little bit used to this. Not quite as, but when it happens, well, I think between Fonda did the same thing the week before, and the place was probably the biggest crowd I've seen there in 10 years, maybe, or not 10, but since the last when they had the first Jack Johnson race. But it does make a whole. Well, one guy told me a long time ago, it feels like you're a part of something. If this many people are going, there must be something going on here. So, and it's great that we had all these companies involved that made it positive. So if only, if a quarter of those people come back one week and then maybe another quarter next week, that's what it's all about. To get them there once, to put on a good show for them, and hopefully they'll get it all done. But again, congratulations! Always great talking to you. I'm sure we'll probably hook up again before the season's over. I'm sure there's a few more W's there in your column, that's for sure. So. And get on the road and do a little more traveling and get. Well, I say it's early. You've got what, 5 races under your belt so far, and here we are.
I think we got 5 or 6.
Yeah,
somewhere,
6. And here we are in June already. So almost, it's crazy. Well, always great talking to you. We'll catch up with you. I think we're going to make the trip up on Sunday, so hopefully you'll be there. Okay. If you're not going to be in a car, we'll probably see you floating around somewhere. Anyway.
I'll be around.
Okay.
One way or the other.
Yes. All right, Peyton. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good night now.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty. So there we go. Our 2 guests are in. And I'm hoping that the, yes. Donnie Thorpe just reminded me that the new vintage series will be opening up their season at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park this Sunday. The IVRA Vintage Racing, the Independent Vintage Racing Association. And the other, the Mohawk Valley boys and girls haven't had a chance to get much done yet this year with all the crazy weather that we've had. Hopefully they will be in action here shortly. They get rained out again at Fonda for the second time. But, so we have, 2 great organizations. If you are into vintage or... we're finding a lot of people that just couldn't afford to do a weekly deal anymore, have kind of switched over, and some of the folks that have been racers in the year past still want to keep racing. Vintage racing has really grown in this area especially, and the more the merrier, as they say. So if you hadn't got a chance... Bill want to know where Alex raced last Friday. Oh, he raced at Utica and won that 358. Right, he's on a roll here. He's won his last 4 races, I think, or 5. Anyway, and I don't know how he's doing tonight, but we're going to go check it out here shortly. Yeah, I want to run down quickly, and again, thanks to everybody for all the kind remarks and whatever. It's certainly humbling. I do it just because I love all you guys. I love to race people and the race family. But let me get here. There we go. I can do this. All right. Yeah, so I got coming up, of course, tonight. The Short Track Super Series is running as we speak and should be just about feature time very shortly. So we're going to run around and catch the TV. Down at the Action Track in Pennsylvania. Thursday night, Airborne Speedway, their regular night. It's Kids Posters Night. They have a $500 Renegade. So if you got a Renegade, which I think is 4 cylinders mostly, head on up to Airborne. Make yourself $500. We'll see. Friday night of the Albany Saratoga Speedway is a $1,300 Sportsman Special. 358s are back in town. So forgot to ask Peter if he's bringing his 358. He has brought it 2 of the 3 races so far. But big block and small blocks again at Albany Saratoga. And a $500 to win limited sportsman event there. Devil's Bowl be running their regular Saturday show with posters for the kids, or the poster contest for the kids again. Fonda this week is having the CSRA Sprint Cars, the first sprint car race of the season at the Track of Champions this Saturday night. One and done as far as the CSRA. I'll probably see our good friend and past Fonda modified champion Jeff Trombley wheeling the sprinter around Fonda on Saturday. Always good to see Jeff at the wheel at his old stomping grounds. And Lebanon Valley be holding their regular show, which includes the 358s and the big blocks and the sportsman and a limited sportsman and all the rest of it. It is Guy Madsen night, of course, the owner of the of Brett Hearn's championship cars for many years at the Valley and beyond. But Guy is a great guy. Just passed away last fall, and certainly will be missed. His son Brian has kind of picked up the gauntlet, and of course his grandson Dylan is racing weekly here at Fonda Speedway in the modifieds in the West Moody car, and so the Dylan legacy continues, that's for sure. But it'd be Guy Madsen night at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. Sunday up the Ridge, as we just mentioned, it'll be all the regular classes. See if Jordan McCready, Tim's younger brother, can continue on his streak. He won last week. Lance Willix won the opening night. So I look back in the records. McCready's won four of the last 5 modified races going back to last year at the Ridge. So we'll see if he can continue on. He is the defending champion of the 358 class. So we want to get up on the hill and see some vintage racing as well as all the regular classes. And Utica Rome will be running, as we were just talking with Peyton, a 61-lap Richie Evans memorial for the big blocks, or a small block if you got it, as long as I think it's got away the 2400. But they put up a bonus actually for the first 3 358s across the line, so some good money on the line. I think it sounded like maybe Peyton's going to be there, but their last big block race was won by, guess who? Yeah, the same guy that won the 358 race last week, and who knows when it's going to stop. And like he says, he's going to enjoy it while he can. But so a big week of racing coming up. Again, hope everybody had a decent holiday weekend with all the rain. And thanks everyone for all their kind words. It means a lot. We will see you back here on our regular Monday night, I believe next week. Yes, next Monday night. And keep it between the boards, and we'll see you at the races.